Lloyd Consulting stickers, t-shirts and mugs are available by clicking the link to the Google form in the video description below. Good morning. Today is the 10th of June and this is the classic motor hub near Bibury in Gloucestershire, and we're here at the HubNut social. This social has been deliberately under-publicised because people here wanted to know how many were going to turn up, and I'm very blessed to be a member of the HubNut channel, and so I was informed it was happening, and so I made my way up here. As you can see, Reliant Fox Vauxhall is here next to the Ford Fairmont AU. As far as I know, Vauxhall was built in 1983 and registered in 1984. Still got the Volvo 340, I think these are, seats in here. Still the original colour, the green is on the interior. With a new owner now, and the lettering from the side has been painted over, I think, actually. I think I first saw this in person at Bromley Pageant in 2019, and ironically I'm going to Bromley Pageant tomorrow, actually. It'll be a much bigger event than this. The thing is, we've actually got multiple of these HubNut stickers, all the styles of them are on this car, that you can buy at the stand, all sorts of lovely merchandise and things. Take a look at the interior as well, which also has another HubNut sticker, which is very amusing. I wonder how long it is before they've got to do something about those headlamps for the MOT man. It's always the way on these sort of cars from the early 2000s. I hope I don't get a copyright strike for that music in the background, viewers. We will continue. Porsche 928, probably an American import, judging by shaded number plate, 1981 to 2 registration. Like this colour. Oh, Nardi steering wheel. Oh, it's a manual with a dogleg gearbox. Interesting. That is a really nice touch. The wheels are off a later 928, I think. I don't think they would have had these. I don't think they were teledials at this time. That's very nice. First generation Mercedes SLK. This will be the 230 compressor, won't it? It's quite an early one, this. It came out in 96, and this is a 97, 98. Yeah, it's a 230 compressor. Something else that's interesting from about the same time is this Ford Mondeo. As far as I remember, the Mark II came in 1996, so this will be a late Mark I. I think this is just the base model. Sometimes they were called the Aspen, but I think this was just the Mondeo. It's the base one with the I think the correct wheel trims as well. No air conditioning, of course, nothing like that. Having done a Mark II Mondeo recently, it was a modified one. A nice standard Mark I would be very high on my list to film. I quite like this. I also like this Ford Orion. I mean, I prefer an Orion gear. I mean, that was it goes without saying, but this one is still very nice. Gosh, there's no rust on this at all. Wow. It's Orion L. It'll be a 1.4, I think. Quite late for the Mark II Orions. 88, 89. Citroen Saxo Forte. Now, a lot of the ones that survive are the VTS and VTR models, but this is a Forte. This was, I think, a 1.4, which was designed to sort of, combat the incredibly high insurance rates that these cars had for the younger drivers. And of course, Citroen were very much known at the time for free insurance. That's why these cars were so popular amongst younger drivers. Got the yellow gear lever and things like that in this car, or gear knob I should say, which was in some of the other editions, the East Coast and West Coast, things like that too, had similar things. And then we've got a very, very nice Rover 75 2.5 V6 Connoisseur SE. Very, very nice. So it's a 2001, and it's got a green leather interior with some beige bits as well. My favourite, viewers, is the beige leather interior, but the green one will do. I mean, that'll do quite nicely, won't it? Got the correct shape number plate as well on the back. Volvo 9, this one, Volvo 740, 940 was later. 740 SC Saloon. From about 1988. It's very similar to the one Mr. Richardson Furious Driving has, but this is a slightly earlier one, and it's an auto. And we've got headlamp wiper action, which is always welcome, isn't it? I have driven his car many, many years ago, which you know, was most enjoyable. I do like old Volvos. I have one myself. We've got a couple of these little baby Austins here. I think they're both A35s because of the rear window is larger. You can also tell by the front grille as well. Good old A series. This is a bit of a curiosity to me because it's got a 1963 plate, but they finished production in '59, so I don't quite know what's happened here. Either the car had the registration taken off in the very, very early days when they would just replace the plate with an approximate year if that happened, or the car was re-imported from somewhere before about 1981, and so they just slapped another plate on it. I don't actually know how that would have happened, but it's very nice anyway. I mean, you know. Oh gosh, no, they've actually got a really sort of good difference between sort of unrestored and restored here as well, and quite a few extra sort of lights on the back of this one as well. See, that's a bit safer. So we've seen the Orion. We've also got an Escort here. Again, this is probably an L or something like that. It's not high spec. I love the headlights for the top of the column there, which is typical sort of Ford thing from the 1980s. And Mark II Fiestas were also like that. 1988 to 9. Volkswagen Golf Mark II GTI 16-valve 3-door. This will be worth a fair bit, won't it, viewers? Now, if we're at Retro Rides Weekend, we'd be seeing tons of these, and we did see tons of these, but because this is a HubNut event, it's not something we see a lot of. Something that I was going to test last year is a Volkswagen Taigo, and this is a brand new one. It's a 2023. It's basically the sort of coupe version of the Volkswagen T-Cross and uses the same engines and sort of chassis and everything. I don't know, but I kind of find that quite interesting. I'm not sure why, but I do. Probably for most of you though, this 1970 Bond Bug will be considerably more interesting than the Volkswagen Taigo. Look at this, it's sort of kind of has this itinerary on the side of all the places it went in June 2008. I wonder if someone's replaced the gearbox in it, because that doesn't look like an original gear lever for these. But most of them, the vast majority of them, were just orange, like the canopy of this one is. But this has been sort of painted at various points. It's very interesting seeing one like that. Right, viewers, we have to be a little bit careful because due to the Mayor of London and all his friends around the country, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. I'll have to just take a pause here and sort of see what engine is in this one. Just wait a moment. I was right to be cautious, viewers. You know, with this ridiculous ultra-low emission zone expansion that's being introduced in August, and it's the reason why Romley Pageant is being cancelled after, you know, tomorrow's event, we're going to have to not talk about those because he doesn't want us to, does he? So we shall not talk about them. We'll talk about this BMW i3 instead. 2016 to 17 registration, about the same time as the one that I filmed on the channel back in 2018 it was, because one of my friends owned one, but it was the range extender version. I don't know whether this is the range extender or if it's the standard electric one. I presume it's got two flaps, so that'll be a range extender. They're reasonably valuable actually, even now. They finished production, I think it was last year. Suzuki Jimny, this is also very valuable. Is this for van version or was a passenger version? It's got a back seat, it's a passenger version. Yeah, these are sort of name your price really. They're far more expensive now than they were when they were new. So the owner of this just hold on to that for a good return on investment. Mark 1 Renault Scenic here, facelift on a 2000 registration. This is the 1.8 Sport. Having actually reviewed a number of first generation Megans, and actually I've filmed 3 of them. I quite like to go in the Scenic. That's for one version we haven't done, viewers. And I think some of you will be quite nostalgic about them as well. Mercedes-Benz SL 500, I can't remember what year these would be, or what the model code for this shape. Be about sort of 2005, something like that. So yes, all sorts of variety here today. Very late Vauxhall Corsa B, this one. 1 litre 12 valve engine on a V, so 99 to 2000 plate. The very late ones like this, they have the steering wheel that was then used in the Corsa C. Very appropriate car to have L plates on it, because I actually learned to drive in one of these. I took some lessons in a Saxo as well, but I learned to drive in a Corsa B, like loads of you probably did back in the day. And then the Volvo Amazon, this is a 122S, it's a 4-door. Obviously, having attended the Best Kept Volvo Southern event for the Volvo Owners Club only 6 days ago, I'm quite familiar with these. These were the most common type of Volvo at that event, the Amazons. And that's 66, so it's a pretty late one actually, they finished in 70. Mark 6 Fiesta here. Mark 6 Fiestas have been very popular on my channel. I've done 2 of them. One was a pre-facelift from 2005, one was a post-facelift from 2006. This is a facelift, it's 2006. This will have the 1.25 or the 1.4 in it, I imagine. Pretty good cars actually, these. They aren't very expensive and they suit a lot of people. E34 BMW 5 Series. This will be a facelifted one because of the mirrors. I don't know exactly what year because this is a Northern Irish plate on it. BBS wheels, 535i, very nice indeed. 2009 to 10 Toyota Yaris Mark II. Again, I've had one of these on the channel. It was an even later one than this. It was a 2011, which is one of the very last Mark IIs, and they're pretty good. Prices of these are also quite high at the moment. It was 7 Series, and the sort of controversial sort of Chris Bangle one, it's a 760 V12. And look, viewers, beige leather interior. I do like a nice beige leather interior with wood, and that certainly does have some wood in it. Yeah, 760. Wow. Alfa Romeo Mito. It didn't come out until 2008, so that plate doesn't really help us. Don't know what specification this is. They made these for a really long time. I mean, right until 2018, when the Punto went out of production that that's based on. Wow. Jaguar XKR, the first generation one, is supercharged in the front, so it must be an XKR. I would really like to have a go in one of these first generation XKs. That would be very nice, particularly if it had a beige leather interior. Oh, now this is even more exciting. Gosh, a 2008 Honda Legend with the V6 engine and all-wheel drive, and it's got wood. These were terrible sellers over here. I don't even know why Honda bothered marketing them for such a long time, but I'm really glad they did, because we can enjoy things like this. That's fantastic. I'd like to have a go at one of those views. Hyundai i10 N-Line 2023. This is the sort of top of the range i10. These are pretty good cars, to be honest. Again, this is something I'd like to try. That's got Hyundai press plates on it. Wow. Interesting. It's called like the Picanto GT Line and GT Line S. They're very popular as well. That one we're going to have to skip. I will come back to that Peugeot partner and we'll move on to another Yaris, another Yaris TR, 2008 to 9 registration with the parking sensors, so quite fancy. This is the same colour as the one I filmed a sensible second-hand review actually. Is that by any chance a Fiesta ST or is it another model? It doesn't have these ST embossed seats, so it might actually be a different one. I don't know, viewers. Answer in the comment section below. 2010 Honda Accord Tourer, I think these are. This is a 2.4 model, and it has another beige leather interior. No wood this time, but it's very nice. I have driven this car. I drove it in 2021. It's actually one of the best second-hand cars I think I've ever driven on Sensible Second-Hand Reviews. That is just amazing. One of my channel viewers owns this. His name's Richard, and he always brings it to events, and I'm very happy always to see it. Another Volvo 740 here, B200E red block engine, which just goes on and on. One of the easiest cam belts in the world to change. Other one's a Ford Pinto. This is a manual. It's probably just a GL. Almost wheel trims. Yeah, 740 GL. Wonderful. Driven so many 940 740s now. Suzuki Wagon R Plus, similar to the Vauxhall Aguila. This is the earlier one, I think. This is pre-facelift. I think it's got the later 1.3. The earlier ones had a different 1.3 in them. This is an auto as well. Wow, exactly what you need for the town driving. I have driven an Aguila, which is very similar to this. I didn't find driving position too comfortable, unfortunately. Ooh, Skoda Fabia Classic. I have driven one of these. We had one on No Budget Reviews in this exact colour. I wonder if this is the 54 brake horsepower. Yeah, I think it is actually. I think it's a 54. That is a complete poverty spec, but most of you will very much enjoy that. Mr. Bill, if he's watching for the Fuel Power channel, we have a Classic Mini here, 1982 to 3 registration. Goodness knows what it started off as. It's been modified extensively, but quite like that. It looks sort of Cooper-ish, but not really. Ooh. Gosh, it's a Tucson. I think this is a first generation Tucson, you know, viewers. I can't remember if there was one before that, but... oh dear. That's a bad mistake, viewers. I better move on quickly. That's terrible, I do apologise. Lotus XL, 1987 to 88 registration. And I think we've got the 2.2 in here, haven't we? Always loads to do. Ooh. And then here we have first generation MR2, which is quite a late one, 1989 to 1990. And then a Trabi. I don't think it's late enough, this one, to have the Volkswagen Polo engine. I think this has still got the old 2-stroke engine in it. That's actually in really nice condition with, I think it's called Duroplast, the material it's made from. That looks pretty good. I mean, I prefer that MR2 personally, but there is a following to these. 1995, 1996 Fiat Cinquecento Sporting here. Looks like we've got some Abarth accessories on this car. I don't know whether these are genuine Abarth accessories or not. It looks pretty good like this, actually, to be honest. Good, it's a little 90s car. I've got a little tiny dashboard, a little tiny rev counter. I've driven a Seicento rather than a Cinquecento. I found the pedals actually really awkward in the Seicento, to the extent that I almost crashed at one point, but you know, there we go. Skip these views because we can't talk about them, as the Maradona says we can't. We'll go on to the Seat of Rona. Now this is, I don't know what year this is. This will probably have the 1 litre TSI in it, which also used to power my Seat Toledo, but it was the first car we ever had on my channel. It's a nice little car, isn't it? It looks nice. It's just sort of, really a kind of taller version of the Ibiza. I'll have to skip this Jaguar as well, as much as I really don't want to, because I do like those. And we'll go on to this Audi, which Mr. Pink owns. Mr. Pink you would have seen on various points of the channel, the man with the Yugo saunas. Hello, Mr. Pink.
Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir. This is a very early Audi 100 C4. It's a 91 or a 92. It's a 2.3e. This is superb. I mean, it's exactly the kind of thing that I really like. It's a pre-airbag one. It's got Procon 10, which was a mechanical system which pulled the steering wheel away from the driver in the event of an accident. It's also got wood in it, and it's an auto. Wow, and the original Blaupunkt cassette stereo. Amazing. I mean, I prefer the 2.6 myself, but you know, that will do very nicely. Will also do nicely is this 2000 Fiat Brava 1.2 Trofeo, which I've just filmed for No Budget Reviews viewers. In fact, earlier this week, you would have seen the video which came out a few days ago. I was just talking to Richard again, who owns this car, and it's weird spec. I mean, fair enough, some fog lights and some leather trim on the steering wheel are nice, but why has it got no alloy wheels and why has it got no aircon? Never mind. Oh, something else we've actually driven, viewers. Not this particular car, but I have driven an Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. I drove that in 2022. It really didn't do very well, but I don't really care, because driving one of those with over 500 horsepower on the high-speed bowl at Millbrook was absolutely incredible. This is just the Veloce, so not as powerful, but that would be absolutely fine for me if that was my car. That would be more than adequate. And we've got an MGF here on an R, so 97, 98 registration. Ooh, and a beige leather interior with piping. Very nice, viewers. He's got beige bits on the steering wheel. Tahiti blue, I think, is this colour actually. Also got the Corolla Sports Touring here, the hybrid, 2019 to 2020 registration. But I think this is the best-selling car in its segment, as far as I know. They're very popular at the moment. Obviously, I understand why. That Range Rover we're going to have to skip. And we'll have a look at this Clio. Mark III, early Mark III, 2007. Hoping we've got the petrol engine in this one, viewers. Not quite yet, but there will be a time when these actually do become sort of classics. If the Mark IIs are sort of on that way now, the Mark Is definitely are. And then it's a Mark, let's get this right, a Mark VI Golf. And an Alpha GTV. Of course, the famous or infamous test drive that Ian Seabrook did. I think in Australia, one of these in heavy traffic. It didn't go very well. This is very nice. Yes. I wonder if this is the V6, viewers. No, it's a 2-litre twin spark. Even the twin spark ones of these are fun. I've driven the Spider version of this, the 916 Spider. This I don't think is as late as the 2003 one I drove. It'll be a bit earlier, but even that is a fun little car. Also fun is this first generation facelift Kia Picanto, 2009 to 10. I've driven one of these on the channel. It was a very late one. It was I think an 11 or something when I drove. This is the Picanto 2. There was 1, 2 and 3 specifications and the special editions. We've got these nice alloy wheels. I imagine they're an option or something. We don't have any fog lamps, which is interesting. These are really popular cars at the moment. They tend to sell for a bit more money than you'd imagine. Ooh, Mark I Jaguar 2.4. So the base specification Mark I with the spats over the rear wheels. I can't remember why they actually did that. Forget now. But look at that 50s dash, all the wood and all the leather. Just a little, I think it's a Moss 4-speed in that. extremely attractive car and very, very good value for what it was back in the day as well. Ooh. Let's get this right. I think this is a Honda Insight. I think that's what they're called. This was like a rival to the Prius, but they never took on in the same way. Apparently they're really, really, really good cars, these. Yeah. 2010 to 11 plate. Again, it's something I'd like to try. These are probably quite expensive now as well. Don't know about these smart... Ooh, the open top version, which is definitely called the Road. I think this is still a Roadster, but it's got this sort of coupe back bodywork on it with the little semi-automatic transmission. Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty interesting. I'm not a massive fan of the gearbox in these. They weren't that successful either. The 4.4, original 4.4 in these didn't really sort of catch on for some reason. What's that, 2004 to 5 plate. One of the cars I've been trying to get on my channel for such a long time is an Astra G or Mark IV. This is a 2000. This is the estate model, probably the 1.6 or something I imagine most of them were. I mean, there's not really a lot to say in some ways, but I think these cars are fascinating. They had Lotus help them develop the suspension in these. Apparently they drive really, really well. But yes, if you've got an Astra G or literally anything else that doesn't have the wrong engine in it, then there was an email address shown on the screen at the beginning of the video, and please do get in touch. So we have a couple of Invacars here. They're both made by IndyCar Limited. I don't remember what the difference between Fundersley, apart from that being the place where it was made, and Invacar was. This is a really late one, a 77 I think this is, so one of the very last made, a Model 70 I think they called it. And then this is an earlier model. I've never seen the earlier model before, and to see them side by side like this is absolutely astonishing. You can see the suspension really, really easily in this. I can't remember if this had a different engine from the Steyr-Puch engine in this one. Well, there it is. Somebody can tell me what engine it is, because I haven't got a clue at all. So I've parked up here next to Dave, who very kindly provided this Jaguar S-Type for review on the channel back in December. It's been quite popular actually. It's a 2000 3-litre V6. At the time the brakes were a bit knackered in it. They've been fixed now, so that would drive a little bit better. But a lot of you seem to quite like this. These have a change-driven engine, not a cam belt, which is what I said in the video, because I'm an idiot and I always get things wrong. But yeah, it's very nice. A couple of Citroen Amis here. One of them's actually on Citroen UK press plates, which is interesting. Now these just have a load of accessories that you can put on them. You can put these wheel covers on, those are actually optional. You can actually get these wheel covers as well. You can get these graphics. They're limited to 30 miles an hour, as it says there. They're only available left-hand drive. The range isn't amazing, but people absolutely go crazy for these, and I kind of understand why. I had to sit inside one of these at the Driven 24/7 social event earlier this year, and they're pretty interesting. Right, I think we'll have a go and see if there's anything else that's come in whilst I've been filming. 2017 Hyundai i10. This is actually a car that I filmed on the channel as well. It's at the same time as I filmed the Honda Accord that's here. Yeah, I mean, they're really good cars, these. They're fantastic little things. 2020-2021 MG ZS EV, pre-facelift in Pimlico Blue. Again, a car that I'm very familiar with. I attended the press launch for this very car in, I think it was July 2019, where I was a guest of Planet Auto YouTube channel. And yeah, I filmed one in this very colour at that time. MG have come quite a long way since then, but they are still great. I mean, I once actually heard somebody tell me they bought one of these because they saw that terrible video that I made, which is always very interesting to hear. Very nice views. MG RV8, 1995-96 registration. beige leather interior with wood. Excellent. Dark green. Wonderful. Please. Where do I buy one? Oh, it's Japanese import as well with those plates. 1983 to 84. Alfa Romeo Spider 2 litre. It looks very similar to the one that Richard Hammond drove on Top Gear many years ago. It looks very similar. And then a very late first generation Honda Jazz. I think this will be an SE. If you like these Jazzes on the channel, so here we are. This one is for you. So that's it, viewers. We'll have a look around in a separate video because there's always interesting stuff going on here. But thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below. After the second video there'll be as many videos of Bromley pageant as I can manage in one day, but we'll be starting to come out tomorrow. And thank you ever so much indeed once again.